tell you right now, he's all for the light skin, so you know.
And we got the same haircut, so it works.
Gotta keep us in style and season. I like what you're doing, but what I really like is your story, man, your backstory. You have never been afraid, as far as I've seen, to share with people what you have been through, some of the challenges you got through, and now tell the folks about who Jeremy Anderson is.
Man. For years, I knew how to fail, and I had a lot of struggles. A lot of people do. My biological father wasn't in my life. My mom to Atlanta, to New Jersey, to Alabama. We moved around a lot when I was young. I just wanted to be accepted, and I had teachers that was like, "Yo, he's not good enough, he's not smart enough." I failed a lot. 3 different schools for the 9th grade. Kept getting kicked out, kept failing. And I finally came across a group of teachers that was willing to rock with me and give me a chance, and I finally began to believe in myself. You know what I'm saying? So what I do now is I speak life to others to let them know what they can do, what they can achieve if they believe. So when I go to schools and speak, I promise you, I'd be like, yo, for one, sit down and be quiet. I need you to lock in with me. I need you to listen and believe. Because what's the point? I could be up here sweating and pouring my heart out and crying, and we have the moment, but if you don't believe, what's the point? So I'm really showing them, Reec, like, yo, if you believe in what you can do, what you can have, and what you can achieve. So I share my story. And that's what a lot of people struggle with doing, is they don't really want to put their business out there. I don't mind sharing my failures. I don't mind sharing the things and areas I struggle with, because I'm like, yo, I'm going to go ahead and expose myself and put it out there, and then you're going to realize, like, I can relate to you.
We need
most speakers, Reec, going to be up there like, yeah, I'm nice here, this is what you got to do. I'm like, but bro, what you been through? So when I let people know, like, yo, I know how to be depressed. Like, I know how it feels to have your marriage on the rocks. Like, I know how it feels to be down and out. I know how it feels to be eating mayonnaise sandwiches. Like, I know how it feels to struggle. But I'm on the other side, and that's where we make that connection. And then I give them the principles on how to win, and we go from there.
I like it, man. You got me ready to run through them all right now. Hey, man, shout out to my homie JP for bringing me to the table. There it is. I know. He said, you got to bring Jeremy on because he got great energy. And you see why.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So that gives a connection to the people that you're talking to. You let them know you're real. In the world of social media, we don't get that. We get highlight reels. Yeah. So I really enjoyed what you bringing to the table, man. Give us some of the meat and potatoes of what you're saying when you give him this formula without giving away too much.
So it's a mindset shift for me. And everything I do when I'm talking, I'm always talking about the mind. I believe in the power of being transformed by the renewing of your mind. So the sharper your brain is, the more your perspective is in place, like that's what can help shift you. I believe, Miss Juicy Baby, what you think is what you say. What you say is what you do. What you do on a regular basis becomes a habit. Your habits create your character, and your character determines your destiny. But it all starts in your thought process. So as I begin to believe that I could do great things, and now it's to the point now it's like I just gotta put the work in, and I gotta stop making excuses. Like I stopped saying, man, my teacher's hating on me. I stopped saying, man, cops is pulling me over because they give me a hard time like that. I stopped saying, no, Jeremy, you are where you are because of your decisions you made. The bad decisions you made. So I took ownership. That's the second thing. My belief system changed, and I started taking ownership, and I stopped giving people my power.
Look in the mirror.
That's it. I started, yo, ain't nobody else gonna be able to say I blew Jeremy up or took him away or whatever. Like if I'm not where I'm supposed to be in life, it's because of me. So I started taking ownership, and I started telling myself, like, man, if I don't win, it's because of me. And I began to put that work in. Went to summer school, took night school courses, caught up with my grade, graduated from high school on time, went to college with that same mindset, that same belief system, bachelor's degree, master's degree. Still had some other hiccups. Still trying to figure out what I was going to do, if I was going to live the street life or live a life of purpose. You know what I'm saying? So I was out there moving work, just doing some dumb stuff, just trying to figure life out. And then I really found that real purpose and went all in. And so for me, it's always been a mindset shift. And then after the mindset shift from there, it's like, okay, I got to believe in what I can have, and then I got to put the work in.
I like it.
So what actually inspired you to be a motivational speaker and tell your story?
So that's 2 parts to answer that question. The first part is I remember hearing one of my big homies, Shannon, and then one of my big homies, E.T., Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip-hop preacher. You like him? Yeah, that's my guy, you know what I'm saying? So when the GOAT, whenever he would speak, he was actually a teacher at one of my schools.
Wow.
It's crazy how you don't realize the power. I've known E for over 25 years now. Absolutely. And so we've had that connection since I was a teenager. And so I knew I wanted to do something because I knew how it felt when others finally began to speak life to me, but I didn't know how to do it. I went to college majoring in communications because I thought you got to.
That's how you bet you gonna learn.
Then I realized television, radio production, like this ain't quite
how to
it.
write stories.
Right. And so you know, years ago, probably about 11 years ago, I started speaking here or there in my local schools, in my church, and man, I was at this one school one time, man. This lady had me speak for like career day, and I went in for about 30 minutes and snapped. And this little girl came up to me afterwards, red hair and freckles and tears. Little girl was just like, yo, she probably about 14, 13, maybe 8th grade. She's like, you just saved my life. And I'm thinking like, man, my story, it wasn't that deep, you know what I'm saying?
But I got you.
You know what I'm saying? But she was like, yo, you just saved my life. I was like, what you mean? And I finally got her to calm down and like breathe and talk it out. She was like, I planned on committing suicide.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, whoa. She was like, it was either her best friend or her sister had just committed suicide. And she was like, they left me. I couldn't live without them. She's like, but now I know weapons go forward, but they're not going to prosper.
That's right.
There you go.
JP, I'm thinking like, what? She like, I'm more than a conqueror.
Yes.
I know I can do this. You know what I'm saying? My condition won't be my conclusion.
She's
I'm
giving
like,
you,
whoa.
back to you.
Everything I was giving her, and she give me the biggest hug and run off was like, I'm going to make you so proud, Mr. Jeremy. I ain't going to lie, my allergies kicked in a little bit.
Yeah, somebody was cutting onions.
You feel me? That thing messed with my head, bro. And I went home and I was just thinking all night, like, man, how do I say this? And my wife, you know, they talk about the 5 love languages. It's like physical touch, words of affirmation. You know what I'm saying? Gifts, acts of service, right? Well, it's the 6th one that they didn't add, and it's stability.
Same.
Them bills being paid, JP. That was my wife's love language. Economics.
Yes.
And so I remember going home that next morning and I had to get my wife in the spirit because I knew what I felt God was telling me.
I gotta talk her into it.
You know what I'm saying? So I made her normal little oatmeal with the little craisins and almonds and her egg whites.
You put a little extra on that.
Oh, you already know. You already know. I had that thing right. And she eating. I'm like, hey, boo, I feel like I'm stuttering, I'm nervous. I'm like, I'm supposed to be doing this full time. This little girl told me I saved her life. And at this time, I was making great money working. We just built a house. We just had our daughter. My wife was working for the government. We was very comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And so my wife was just like, what you saying, bro? She like, Miss B, like, what you saying? Right. I said, man, I feel like, then I ain't know what else to do. I blame it on God. I said, I feel like God saying to quit my job. She's like, what he say about me? That's a cheat code, Reec. But
what she say about
savage.
me?
She like, what she say about me? I'm like, he ain't saying nothing about you. I was like, this is what he told me to do. She's like, homeboy, if you think you finna just be traveling and motivating people, and I gotta be the one that's gotta stay here and work and raise our daughter, you got me messed up.
I know
I was
that's
like,
right.
what you saying? She was like, well, if you quit your job, I'm quitting my job too. He wanted to take care of both of us. I was like, did you pray about that?
But God said, honor thy husband.
Right. I'm thinking like, I need you to keep working, boo-boo, because your salary alone with the government, it's going to cover the car notes, the new house mortgage. She's like, nah, homeboy, we all in. And when I tell you, bro, it got to a point where it was like, yo, if I don't speak, I don't eat. And man, he's faithful. It worked out. We on the other side. Best decision I ever made. But that's, to answer your question, that's what got me to go all in like this. I saw there was a need. And in my heart, I was like, I don't care how long it takes me to be able to make up enough speaking to get to the salary. I'm not on profit. I'm on purpose right now.
Right.
I'm saving lives out here. I done got some big bags, real big bags. That don't move me as much as a kid in high school. Can I tell y'all a story real quick? Man, I was at this one school. I think I was either in Memphis. Well, we used to call it Memphis, Tennessee back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
We all know why. We're gonna keep it moving, though.
We're gonna keep it moving. I was either in Memphis or I was in the South Side of Chicago, and I just got done speaking at this school. My shirt was soaking wet. I was pouring my heart out. Man, this dude came to me with these long locks and was like, "Say, bro, come here." I was like, "Okay." So I walked over to him. He went to the bathroom. He's like, "Bro, that was some real beep you was sharing." I felt that. I was like, "Okay, that's what's up." Then he went in the bathroom by the stall and was like, "Come here." I'm thinking like, "Bro, what you want?" You know what I'm saying? Like, "What's up?" He's like, "No, for real, I want to show you something." And began to like pull up his shirt and his pants. I'm like, "Whoa, I don't know what you want,
like that,
boy."
yeah, I'm
bro,
married.
my man pull out a half bag of weed and began to flush it down the toilet.
Wow.
And was just like, "Yo, you changed my life. I'm about to get out the game. I've been up here, you know what I'm saying, selling them little bags at school. I'm about to go all in." And me and him shared a moment, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm like, now let's sweep this weed up that fell before you get both of us in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, for the bread dogs come in.
You
but
feel me?
But you changing lives through
like
action.
that, bro. By me just sharing my pain, and most people, like you say, with social media, they show the highlight reels.
Right.
But I'm like, man, can you talk about the struggle though?
Yes, talk about the time, the
girl
oodles and
happy now.
noodles. I need that.
Oodles and noodles. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the ramen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I feel like for me, I just share my pain so it can be someone else's game.
Absolutely. I like that's a t-shirt. I'm gonna give you that idea. All right, listen, was it stories like that made you start Next Level Speakers Academy? Because now you have a gift, you're using it, but now you're creating others to be able to use that too. Most people won't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like in their heart, because people are in such survival mode, is they're worried about somebody else taking their slot. I ain't worried about that. I feel like what he got for me is for me, so I ain't really tripping on that. And I literally want to see other people win. It took me a while to get there. I wasn't always healthy in the spirit. It was a time where I felt like, if I don't get this for my family, but I'm in a place now, I like to see other people win.
Yeah.
But I created the Speakers Academy. For one, I've been doing this for 10 years now, 11 years, full-time, 8 years.
Yeah.
So I feel like an expert in this space.
Yes.
And so I created the Speakers Academy because there's other people like all of us in here that got a story, that got a message that can help change lives. And most people don't realize the impact that they can make and the income. I ain't gonna lie, Miss Juicy, baby, I want both. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to live a life of purpose, but I ain't mad at them profits.
So now the oatmeal got a little extra berries on it.
I'm trying to tell you, in a different type of ceramic bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Now you're saying that those bags are coming. We know it's about purpose, not about the profit, right? But at the same time, we had a pandemic. How did you maneuver through the pandemic with doing public speaking?
Yeah, so I have just as many engagements, but as opposed to my premium top price, it's been reduced by a couple grand. But I ain't tripping, because to be able to go downstairs, and I'm gonna keep it real with your audience, to be able to speak from my basement for 45 minutes and get 5 grand, I ain't tripping. Okay. It might not be 10 grand with me on stage or 20, but I'll take 5, 45. You want me to speak for an hour? And I get to change your life?
You need some help.
You know what I'm saying? In the comfort of my home. So the pandemic is different, but there was a lot of labor. I was traveling 2-3 times a week, jumping on airplanes, going back and forth to the airport. And even though I didn't have to necessarily drive, it's just still a lot to have to do that.
That's a lot.
But now to be able to be here, I don't have to scramble back to try to see my little girl before she go to bed or before she come home from school. You know what I'm saying? Most times I could speak and fly right back.
Because those are your sacrifices that you're dealing with while you're trying to help others get past their hiccups.
And that's what people don't realize. When you bring me to speak, you're not just paying me to be there. You're paying for me. I got 40 minutes to the airport. Then I got to go to security. Then I got to jump on the plane, however long the flight is. Then I got to get to the place, then speak.
Paying you to be away from your family and your car.
That's exactly it.
I get it. Right now, we're with Jeremy Anderson live on Reec Radio. Got the beautiful Miss Juicy Baby.
Yeah.
You said it earlier, but she's going to have to sing it.
Okay. Miss Juicy Baby.
Hear that harp? There we go. Unicorn just got his horn. And my boy JP, and of course, Bevie Stitch. What we're talking about right now is being motivated and then teaching others to motivate themselves through the Next Level Academy. Tell people how they can find you.
Yeah, so on Instagram it's at one Jeremy Anderson, JEREMY at one Jeremy Anderson, and then our regular website is jeremyanderson.org, and then the Speakers Academy is nextlevelspeakersacademy.com.
Okay, cool. And man, you got businesses too. Next Level Trucking.
Man,
he on the road, keeping it moving.
Yeah, it's
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. So as I began to speak, for one, if I could just share this piece real quick and go back to the speaking. People see where I am now, but we talk about they don't know the past, the journey, and the story.
Right.
Man, I've spoken in so many group homes. I've spoken in so many homeless shelters, so many detention centers and jails. Like I've been speaking in so many different places for free, just blessing them before the cameras, and I still do it at the Fulton County Jail every single week with a program with the young brothers that's 17, because it's 2 whole pods with just a group of 17-year-olds.
We in the RYDCs, YDCs too. So
you already know. Yep. So I've been doing that, but it's like on the reverse end, you know what I'm saying, you get all those extra blessings. And so when I started getting certain gigs and started getting certain checks, I realized, okay, I'm not going to just do well. Like, this is going to allow me to be able to build wealth for my family. And then from there, as opposed to having this bread sit up, I said, man, how can I invest it? And so one of my good friends, Alex Burton, shout out to him, Good Energy, he created a trucking portal. He's my mentor in the trucking game. And so we bought a couple of trucks and began to kind of just build that out to begin to diversify our financial portfolio. Really, I don't want to talk about generational wealth. I'm really living it and having it, and then showing others how to get it as well. And I would have never thought that speaking and changing lives could do all of that.
Yeah, well, one thing about it, you ended up had to be in a house but now you still on the road with your other business. That's crazy. That's full circle right there.
That.
I mean, I do this too. Right, I was playing. Hey, shout out to Jeremy Anderson right here. We're talking about it. Tell me about the podcast, because I want people to be able to catch you and listen to what you have to say on a regular basis.
Yeah, so we got a Next Level Teaching podcast. I'm heavy in the educational space, so I'm not the big dog when it comes to motivational speaking, like corporate and sports teams. Like, that's not my field. I'm heavy in the youth space. So you in elementary school, middle school, high school, universities, like I'm one of the you know what I'm saying, more known names in that space. And so we created the Next Level Teaching podcast where me and my co-host Tori Rodriguez, where we interview amazing educators that's doing great things in that field, because I know the impact educators had on me.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so during that podcast, we go deep. They gonna laugh, learn. We want them to live their best life. But educators do a lot, and I think we all realize how essential they are during this pandemic.
Yeah, and how tough it is for them too, man. Imagine if educators got paid like football players. How amazing school
or even just engineers or doctors.
Right.
They can just go there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. And then they are responsible for shaping the hearts and minds of this next generation.
Yes.
And
repeatedly.
so every day, right? And so I tell them, I don't believe being an educator is just a career and occupation. Like, I believe this is a calling.
Yeah.
You got to be called and a little crazy to do this work.
Yeah, you got to be a little different. Yeah.
A little
Right.
loco.
But you help on both ends. Talk about the school sponsorship you did in South Africa.
Yeah, so again, because we heavy in the educational space and we start having all these extra resources, this gonna sound weird. I'm probably gonna get some hate mail for this. I love government, even though our country got issues. I'm an American. I really ain't trying to give that much back to the government. I'd rather have a nonprofit and make a bigger impact.
Understand.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
So
it
if
makes
I
a
got
lot
a
of sense.
certain pot
The
of money,
government feels that way too. And I meant to cut you off because I don't want you to get too far and people try to cancel. It's not people catch cancel all the time.
Right.
But what you're saying is I'd rather donate than have to pay that tax on it. But the government sees it that way because they know if I find enough 501c3 and I donate, then you don't have to pay me that much because of that.
Right. And so what we did was we put together a nonprofit to be able to take that money and then make a bigger impact. And so I just hit 40. And so for my 40th birthday, my wife was hounding me. She's about to get on my nerves. I'm thinking like, boo. She's like, what you want? I'm like, I don't really want nothing. Like, we blessed.
Yeah.
I got my health. I ain't too much more I can ask for.
Right.
But then it's like, one morning, that thing hit me. It's like 40 for 40. Sponsor 40 kids in South Africa. So we put together the nonprofit. And we got 40. Matter of fact, I was just about to put up a post on Instagram. As soon as I get done out here, send.
Nice.
We got 40 kids in South Africa. So me and my wife are personally sponsoring 10 ourselves.
Wow.
And I've got a bunch of friends that have all chipped in, and they've been sponsoring 1 or 2 students here or there. And we got 37 of the 40 students sponsored.
Wow.
Yeah, 40 sponsored.
Wow, man. Let me give you a round of applause for that. I want to hit this applause button about 10 times since we've been talking. This is one of those times we got to do it right now with Jeremy Anderson. He's talking about staying connected within his goal, his purpose, and that's a beautiful thing. I do want to ask you this though, cuz the people that you run with now, how has that changed based on what you're doing in your mind frame and energy?
Yeah, so I can be honest. I because of where I am, I don't really leave the house. Because of my love for JP, when he hit me, I'm like, bro, I told him, like, whatever you need, I'm there. And so I really just be, at the crib, growing. And so I be having a lot of my partners check in from time to time who are, making some moves. And so we just, the circle, and I really be locked in with my immediately family, but I've got people who constantly are checking in with me, and as iron sharpens iron. So when I see what folks is out here doing, I'm like, man, this is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, they running the conversations we having is different.
There's no toxicity, there's no drama conversation. It's more so about elevation.
Wow.
Not saying that people ain't gonna have problems, but it's more elevation conversation.
Yeah.
I like it, man. Jeremy Anderson coming through and dropping some gems for us. Make sure that you tap in with his podcast. I gotta hook you up with my boy Shivy. I don't know if you ever spoke with Shivy Brooks. That's your guy? Okay,
He
cool.
been to the house a few times.
Yeah, we
Now
graduated high school together. That's my guy too.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that's what's up. Look at that.
I have one more question.
Have it.
I gotta know about. You are also an author too.
Yes.
So tell us about your book.
So I've written, actually, I just finished my 8th book.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy, right? Knucklehead that couldn't even read and middle school, struggling out here on some dodo stuff. The published author of 8 books now. So my most recent book is Next Level Parents. Again, in that school space. I realized for student culture to really go to that next level, I do a lot of work with the students and the teachers, but that parental space was different. So I'm showing the parents how to build stronger relationships with their kids, but also how to build stronger relationships with the school so student achievement can rise.
Got it.
And my new book, I don't know if we got time to talk about this.
We do, let's do it.
And it ain't out yet, but I'm still kind of playing with the idea. It's a book on marriage. Man, I got my butt kicked.
Yeah, we need that. We need. I mean, it's not a topic that's heavily talked about with people that look like us. I mean, a young urban community of talking about marriage isn't really good unless you're talking about something bad that didn't get better. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we need that. We need those triumph stories in there.
Yeah. So
hurry up and write it.
Yeah.
No, for real. Hurry up. No,
right. So you gotta just, cause I can go. So you gotta just tell me.
Go, bro. We here. This is why. I'm sorry. This is why Reec Radio was invented. Because these are conversations that need to be had and brought to the forefront. All right. So if he's on terrestrial radio, there's gonna be a 1-minute conversation.
Right.
Speak, brother.
Yeah. So and it came to mind right when you asked me about the book, and then early I was thinking like I gotta mention my wife, because people will hear my story and my journey and be like, man, Jeremy's so dope and so inspirational. If my girl wasn't crazy enough to be like, I'm gonna quit my job too, because she knew I ain't had what it takes. She knew I ain't super smart like that. I ain't out here just knowing stuff, you know what I'm saying? And so, but the sacrifices that she made, but man, we had some struggles because we different. I'm very outgoing, you know what I'm saying? Man of the people, love the love and connect. She very conservative, laid back, boom, boom, boom. And so because of the challenges that we've had, she had a lot of challenges, you know what I'm saying, with her father, you know, she just not fully being present like he should have been. And so when it came time for intimacy between us, it was just different. And I was trying to let her know, like, yo, I'm not going nowhere. Like, I'm a good dude. I'm gonna keep holding you down. We ain't fussing, we ain't cussing, I ain't yelling. But it just seemed like there was just still this massive disconnect. And I just feel like my heart was getting broke. Not because she was trying to, you know what I'm saying? But it was just like, it was just weird. And so I remember like years and years and years of marriage counseling, and things was getting okay, but they wasn't where they should have been. And then I just made a commitment. I was like, yo, I'm finna be the best husband I can be, regardless of what you do, regardless of what I feel like I deserve, regardless of whatever love language is being spoken, I'm finna just handle my business. Because I didn't say till death do us part if you do this. I didn't say for better or for worse if this. I didn't say in sickness and in health I'm gonna do this. I said this is what I'm going to do. Before your mama passed, I told her I was going to take care of you. So that means if I gotta go on a 9-month fast, and I ain't talking about from food.
I know what you mean.
I'm talking about, man, I'm disciplined, bro. Right. I'm blessed now in a different level because of the discipline in my life. I went through a 9-month fast and told my girl, I don't want you to feel like you got any commitments or no dedication. No, I want to release you of all expectations. Like, you just do you. I need you to have your joy back. I want you to have your love back. I want you to have your peace back. We lost 2 babies. She was going through a lot of depression, anxiety. We moved to a new place. It was just a lot. And I saw my wife was like a fraction of herself. And it was breaking my heart to see her barely trying to hold on, and here I am horny, like, well, I need some love too. And I felt like God was like, you need to grow up, bro. Your wife is sitting here struggling. She lost her mom, her father, her aunt, and her grandmother within 15 months. And you on some, but what about what I need? Right. So I had to grow up, man. And God was like, man, just serve her. Just love her. Just rub her feet. Just cook. Just clean. Just chase her heart and expect nothing in return, because she is trying to do with the best she can do with what she has. She is an amazing woman. How about you focus on what's strong and not what's wrong? And that's what my problem was, Reece. I was focusing on what was wrong and not what was strong. Gotcha. And I began to look at all the pros. It was just 1 or 2 little cons. And so I had to grow up. I went through 9 months. And there were no other ways. There was no pornography, nothing else that was a distraction. I was locked in every single day. How can I serve you? How can I be the best husband that I can be, that you deserve? You know what I'm saying? So that's that next book. Strong enough, long enough, showing husband and men how to be strong enough in the midst of that space where they feel like they're overlooked, they feel invisible, they don't feel that love. Because I'm out here reaching the world, speaking, traveling to Australia, South Africa, India.
But how is that when you was connecting to so many people? You out here changing people's lives, and you can get them a few words and then get that connection right back, but then you go home and it's like you got that disconnect.
Bruh, I'm talking about, I didn't realize, bro, I was functionally depressed.
Yeah, that's what
I was literally like in a funk. I would realize, like, I talked to one of my big homies, And I broke down one day and was like releasing, was fussing and cussing and just like broke down. And he was just like, there we go. He was laughing. He one of my triple OGs, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, you needed that release. And I was like, man, I've been holding this in all this time. And so I realized, like, man, so I'm a big on mental health too. Yeah. People wonder, like, man, Jeremy, see why you so solid? Because I got counselors. Yeah. I got therapists. That support
system. Like, and that's what a lot of us don't have. Like you said, you got two big homie. Well, you could break down and he not gonna berate you or make fun of you for having in a moment. You know what I'm saying? Because that moment's not defining you. Right. So it's good to have the right circle around you. Because if you don't, it's gonna be trouble, man. Right now with Jeremy Anderson, he breaking down. He just gave us, I guess, the preface of his new book and movie on Lifetime that's gonna be coming out. We're gonna go ahead and put that out there.
Put it out.
Go ahead and get you a movie deal off of that one, man, because that's a heck of a story that people definitely need to know about and be shared, man. For you to get through that now, the relationship y'all have now, I'm guessing, it's so much.
I'm talking about overflow. The past 2 years, like our marriage couldn't be no better unless I had 2 wives. But that sounds weird. Let me clean it up.
I know what you meant, though.
Yeah.
I know what you meant, though.
Like if I could double my wife. I don't mean nobody separate. Hold on, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like really, we in a great.
JP, I wish I could see JP face in the background. He's like, whoa, clean that up.
Right. Like really, like during this pandemic, when people were struggling, bro, we was thriving. Yeah. I realized, like, man, I really do like this.
Like, man, like you at home with your homie.
Bro, all day at home with my homie, and we work well together. Amazing. And we realize our different strengths and weaknesses. Guess who run all the money in the house? My wife do. She tell me when I can afford it and when I can't. I'd be like, girl, stop playing. She'd be like, I'm not playing. I'd be like, all right, chill out. You know what I'm saying? Like she really owns something. Like that's her gift. Like she handle all the payroll, all the different entities. Like I used to feel like my wife was like trying to stop me from doing things. But I realized like, nah, bro, you're gifted and built to be on offense. My wife is gifted and wired to be on defense.
Got you.
So she's in, but if you look at every good football team, I can tell you right now, whoever gonna win the Super Bowl Sunday, it's gonna be whichever team has the best offense and defense. You need both. And so, man, I've just submitted to my wife as she submits to me. Like, don't get it twisted. She submit now. But at the same time, as I practice discipline, and I was just like, all right, boo, you having a rough day? You got your little attitude. I'm gonna give you grace.
I think from a male's perspective, that submission comes in the form of discipline.
Exactly.
To me, I think so. Because you're able to pass up on so many things because you understand what you got at home.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not always easy, especially when I'm going places and other people is in my face like, your speech just moved me.
Man, that's what we about to talk about with that entertainment buzz with somebody on the fans page. I get you what you're saying. No.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, man, look, I'm thinking, and I remember being in such a place, I'm thinking like, man, you fine too. Like, I gotta go somewhere.
I can imagine that, especially during that 9-month situation.
Yeah. And then I come home and I feel invisible, and it wasn't intentional. She was just going through some stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we got a daughter at that time. Like it was just a lot.
But man, it's hard for us to understand that though, because like when we feel rejected, we feel like it's us. We don't feel like it's what's the name.
But you didn't hear what the magic word that he said. He grew up.
Yeah, definitely.
So he grew up. He would. Hey, I consider that as bouncing back from his past of all of what he was doing and how he was. But he grew up. He matured.
Yes.
And so now he know how to go about things. Now he know how to treat his wife, you know, and appreciate his wife.
And vice versa.
And it go both ways.
Right.
It's not always the man. Right. Sometimes it's the woman. So that is awesome.
And it was a time where she was just like, you know what? You deserve better. Like, I can't give you what you want. Like, she tried to release me. Like, we've had some serious conversations where she's like, man, I ain't got nothing for you. Like, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can. And I was like, I wish you trying to leave. I wish you would leave me. I'll pack my bags. I'm going with you.
You gotta hit her with that little smile. Like, trying to tell you with the R&B smile. Nah,
I wish. I was like, we not doing it. I was like, yo, I'm going to be okay.
Got it.
But I need. It's weird. It's like for a second I realized like, oh, you're hurting. Like you going through some stuff here. I'm sitting here focused on like me, but I'm like, man, you struggling with some stuff. And so for me, I was just like, man, if I'm out here speaking to the people, but can I do that for an audience of one?
Yeah.
can I be motivational and inspirational? I just put up a video on Instagram. I was like, I don't care what people out here in the world think about me, how dope Jeremy is. If my wife got respect for me, that's why I felt like I'm that guy.
I feel you. All right, man. What better way to close it out with that? Yeah. You're just going to show your wife that clip. There we go. Hey, man, I got your back. Hey, man, appreciate you coming through. Make sure you follow him all across online at jeremyanderson.com. Once again, appreciate the homie JP for linking you up to come up here. Make sure that you check him out on Instagram at @1JeremyAnderson, because somebody else done got the name. And across the rest of social media too at Jeremy Anderson. Once again, thank you. Y'all get his book, listen to his podcast, and rewind this interview back, because you just said some gems, bro. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Y'all keep it locked in. We'll be right back on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter with our the remainder of our show, because Juicy got to talk about some mess. Lots of mess. A lot of R&B guys in the mess right now, man. So we're going to talk about that. My boy JP going to catch you up on sports, and Bevie's going to try to teach me Spanglish right here. Don't see. You see how the anti-motivation, that's how that happens? All right, man. Y'all don't move. This is Reec Radio right now, man. LA to GOAT featuring Rick Ross. 8 bands right here on Reec Radio.